New York and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Ebro in the morning, Lord Styles Rosenberg, and Do It All, Lords of the Underground, also known as Dupré, running for councilman at large for the city of Newark.
Dupré Kelly, baby.
Dupré Kelly.
That's right, man.
Sorry about that. Here come the Lords. Here come the Lords.
Yeah, man. Shout out to DJ Lord Jazz and Mr. Funky, man. Just left the road with, I can say this now, but I skipped out on the campaign for 10 days and had to go get some of that money to put back.
Yeah.
Man. So I left for we did 5 countries in 10 days, man.
Wow. Where'd you guys go?
We did Bulgaria, we did Stockholm, we did Manchester, London, we did, missing something. Oh, we did Lyon, France. We did Nice.
That's dope.
We did something else I'm missing. And one more part.
What's it like going from being now a full-time professional politician and then just jumping back into being sort of your former life?
Well, man, I feel like hip-hop has always been political.
True.
When you talk about, we always talk about social ills and how to get out of poverty situations and what it looked like when we got out. And, that was hip-hop. It was always the message about what we were living through. So it's a natural progression, man. I'm just fortunate enough that Lords of the Underground has a catalog that we can still go out and do 60 to 100 shows a year and jump around on that stage. And Chief Rocker is like a B-boy anthem when it comes to
I was gonna jump and ask, is Chief Rocker the biggest record out there?
When it comes to B-boys, man, I can't front, man. When you see the MMA arenas, when you go to MMA, that's how these breakdancing battles be all over the world. And they utilize Chief Rocker as its anthem. And I think that's because I put Crazy Legs in the video back then, and it just set in stone. We didn't know this was just what I love, the elements of hip hop. And then just to see how that record is now with 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, and young breakdancers, it's amazing to me, man. For real.
So now you're running for, councilman at large?
Councilman at large in the great city of Newark, New Jersey, man.
What does that mean? Does that mean a councilman that is not in City Hall? You're just kind of like at large representing the greater Newark community? Am I saying that right?
Well, yeah, just sort of. The greater Newark, it means that the jurisdiction is the entire Newark. Newark has 5 wards. So we have ward councilmen too, so you can be a councilman of that particular area, and the position I'm running from has jurisdiction over the entire city. And if you become president of the council, we say you're the biggest pin pusher in the city, because then that's next to being mayor.
Got it. Yeah. And so is that the path you want to be on in some years to head to be mayor of Newark?
I honestly, I don't know. I think that I'm in a vehicle, right? And when you're in a vehicle, it's like the headlights see about 200 feet in front of you when you're not moving. When you start moving, you start to see on-ramps, exit ramps. You start seeing street signs. You start seeing other things that you didn't see when you were just sitting still. Right. So as this journey continues and I stay in the car, who knows what the possibilities are.
Now, I first saw you you've been active in Newark and doing stuff for the community for a long time, but we were both, when Ras Baraka first became mayor, he had a meeting of the minds with young people, young organizations that have been on the ground in Newark, and basically laid out a plan for what he was wanted to do and wanted us all to be a part of in improving Newark through community involvement, education, and business. And I saw you there. We was hanging out and talking. But at that time, had you decided that this was your path?
Nah, I didn't decide then. I have a nonprofit organization called 211 Community Impact, and we focus on literacy and we focus on civic engagements and community leadership and things of that nature. So, Raz and just the elected officials in Newark always utilize my company and my nonprofit organization to galvanize the people, bring artists in, and attract the community so we can deliver a message. So I co-produce a bunch of events, and he just felt like that I needed to be at that table with all of the things that I was doing in the city. So I hadn't decided at that time. It really came afterwards, and I think that the people said, "Yo, we want you to be our voice. We think you need to speak for us, because all of the stuff you're doing in the community." And I said, "All right, let's do it."
So, how do you feel about tomorrow?
Man, I feel incredibly great about tomorrow, and for a bunch of different reasons, man. First, the one of the reasons that I'm running is just I'm reflecting of a conversation that I had with Tupac Shakur back over 20 years ago. We were on tour with him. It was him, Patra, Outkast used to open up for us. Biggie used to be on the bus with Pac. It was Jeanne, Fam was rocking with him. And one time me and Pac almost got into a fight because we shared a van together, and one of our members used to be late all the time, so Pac just started wilding out one day and talking.
Pac was always on time. He was
on time. He was on time.
A lot of people don't know he took that business very serious.
So you know what I'm saying. Like, this is real talk. He got on the van and he started talking in third person. It's my tour. People always late every day. They'll be going home. And I just felt in Thug, this is when he was Thug Life, people with him. And I just thought, I felt like we was being dissed. And we didn't have as many people as Pac, but I started talking in third person too. People think they from the West Coast, really, and they from the East. And then we kind of got into a little match until the person that was late got on the van. But later, after the show, he came to my room, and we was in motels then, so we was outside. He came to my room, had like an armful of 40s, had a Newport behind his ear, and I opened the door. I just looked at him, like, you gonna let me in? Let him in. And just to fast forward, we started really talking. Now, this is a 20-year-old Pac. And he talking about, man, we got to create banks in our community. We got to get more popular as hip hop artists, because if we sell 1 million records, that means 1 million people that follow us around the world, and we can go back to our communities. You go back to Newark and take some youth initiatives. I'm gonna go to Oakland. Tret should go to East Orange, and Common should do it in Chicago. And he was just naming the people that was hot at the time. But I understood what he mean now. Just reflecting, it was like, he's like, we might have to do something we don't want to do. And that's run for elected office. And I'm like, man, I'm a hip hopper. I'm a rapper. I ain't running for no elected official seat. And he's like, nah, but that's the only way that we can effectively make change with laws and ordinances and all of that. And I didn't understand it then. But reflecting back, man, the dude was way before his time. And I felt like in that conversation, I have done everything that we talked about in that conversation except run for office. So really, Pac is part of planting the seed too, man.
I mean, when you look around, how many people that we know that came up in this hip hop thing are active in their local community, or are running for some sort of office, or educating kids like the brother Hakeem Green,
man, shout out to
from Channel Live, and just people who continue to be like, no, we need to. I mean, even Shawnee with your program,
right?
Shawnee
too.
No disrespect campaign.
Yeah,
well, it's not surprising, like you were saying earlier, DoItAll. I mean, it's not the only foundation of hip hop.
No.
But certainly community advocacy, education, all those things was a big part of hip hop, particularly at that time.
Right.
And always just even bringing the community together. Think about what Kool Herc and them was really trying to do, and Bambaataa and them was really trying to do with gangs.
Melly Mel.
And Melly Mel and all that. But even with gang relations, right? Like gang relations at that time to get people to stop being violent was to battle in other ways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The whole battling situation was. So we wouldn't fight as gang members. The break dancing and the up rocking and all of that was so you wouldn't really punch a dude in the face. You know what I mean? So
what are some of the issues that you want to address specifically?
Well, I think in Newark, New Jersey, and we need to be proactive with our young people. You know, even like Ebro was talking about with the health, the mental health, and just the health, the physical health, period. We need to be more proactive with our young people. I just believe in order to have a safer tomorrow and a better tomorrow, we need to make a greater investment in our youth.
Yeah, we need summer jobs. We need better youth programs.
I know in my city, I grew up in the West Ward, in the west side of Newark, right? So, and me and Redman from the same area. And we had a lot of programs when we were younger, but the city really didn't have that, the finance wasn't there. So how did we have all of those programs to keep us active, to give us opportunities and no money? Now we got money, and we don't really have the programs, So I just believe we need to make a greater investment into them. Just for example, Ras Baraka, our current mayor, he has a program, a summer youth initiative that he had about 5,000 students, workers, young people come out to work. And we were only able to give 2,500 of them jobs. That shouldn't be. And we should be able to give all of them jobs, and we make about a $1.3 million investment into our youth in a year. I think it needs to be greater. If we want to, that's an investment, because those youth are going to be our citizens, they're going to be our teachers, and just homeowners, small business owners. And if in the way you invest in something, that's the way that you're going to get the result out of it.
No, it's true. I mean, listen, we give them skills and then we keep them off the streets where they get in trouble, they get into fights. The next thing you know, they get arrested, they end up in jail. It's, it's a domino effect.
If we take care of them now, then we won't have to worry about putting them in jail later or putting them in the graveyard later or, too fast. You know what I mean? So we definitely need, that's just one thing. We definitely need to make a greater investment.
How do people go about voting for you tomorrow?
Well, if you have to be a Newark resident, registered voter, and the polls open at 6 a.m. There's 168 polls. You definitely have to get out and vote. And if you need a ride, hit us up. Hit us up on the website.
What's the website?
www.doitall4newark.com. And the 4 is the number 4 or the word 4. doitall4newark.com. And that's just like it sounds, DOITALL, the number 4 or the word 4, Newark.com. Hit us up, man. We'll make sure that we take you there. Get to the polls early. Our elder in the city, they're going to be voting by 11:30. They can finish.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and when people vote for you, you said you're one of 4 people they can select to vote for, correct?
That's right. Councilman at large position in Newark, New Jersey, you can vote for up to 4 councilmen at larges. I'm just asking to be one of those 4. And one thing I want people to realize too, don't get tricked or be fooled to just because you like one person on a team, that doesn't mean you have to vote for that one person's whole team across the
ticket.
line.
Right.
Yeah, you don't
So
have
like
to
you
do
might
that.
be for Raz, right? Because we had Raz up here the other day and we
Right.
brought you up. And he said that he loved what you were doing and wishes that he could have had you on his ticket, but he had people he was already working with when he found out you was doing this, and you said you guys had a conversation.
Yeah, me and Raz had a conversation, like a 2-hour conversation, man, in my crib, and we just kicked it, man. We talked about people don't realize I've known Raz for like 30 years. So, we had a relationship of just being Newarkers. And on the other side, too, his opponent, Gail Cheneyfield, she's like an auntie to me. So I felt like I was in a weird space anyway. And that's why I really chose to run independent, man, and just be in the middle of that and not be, because those are 2 Goliaths going at each other, and I feel like I'm David with a slingshot, and I'm not going against either one of them, but I am asking for a space on that councilman at large position. And it's no disrespect to the incumbents either, but when you've been in something for 27 years, 24 years, 26 years, you become part of the problem if you start getting the same results. And we all know what the same, doing something over and over again, getting the same results, we already know what that definition is. And I just believe that the energy in Newark, the feeling in Newark, I'm in the hoods, like I'm in the neighborhoods, I'm part of the Renaissance. And I just feel like people who are, we're gonna say indigenous Newarkers, people who are born and bred there, if they were part of the fabric when it was nothing, when we didn't have anything, they deserve to be part of the Renaissance, and I'm a voice for that.
Do you believe that there's a certain mentality that needs to be a part of the future of Newark? Because there's obviously people, like you pointed out, have been in office for 20 some odd years.
Right.
And, are doing the same things and expecting new results.
Right.
Okay. What's different now about what you want to bring? What's the mentality? What's the posture? What ideas are progressive ideas, new ideas that you're bringing to the table? Because it feels like Newark is on a clear path for success. Like people know what success looks like.
Right.
They can see great things happening. You can feel great things happening. Some people aren't happy with some of the things that are happening because they feel like maybe they're getting priced out or pushed out by new homes and corporations and these other things. And some people are enjoying it because they're seeing new jobs and they're seeing their property values go up and they're seeing crime continue to drop and they're seeing the police and the city council people care more and be more specific.
Yeah.
About what the problems are and are not. So what's the posture? What's the tone of people that you want to see a part of the future of Newark?
I just want to see the mentality change. We have to, like I said earlier, if you're a part of the fabric of Newark when it was down and when it was nothing, you should demand to be part of it when on this uprise, on this renaissance now. So the mentality has changed. If you have leaders who were born in the 50s, they have a different mindset than leaders who were born in the 70s. Leaders who were born in the 80s. We can't keep a system staying the same, getting the same results. Things change. Just for example, when in Detroit, back in the day, and even in New Jersey and in New York, you had General Motors, you had factories and
factory jobs and pensions and retirement and these things.
Where you can, where a family can work in a factory and buy a home and send their children to college and get life insurance and buy an automobile and live the so-called American dream. Those factory jobs are not the same anymore. You can't just get those type of jobs unless you're in middle America somewhere.
That's why those people voted for Trump.
That's my point. That's exactly why those people voted for Trump. So that means that things are changing. 30 years ago, if I told you that there would be a company making a phone with no buttons on it, I would have looked crazy talking to my grandmother. You know what I mean? Right. If I would have told you that the number one real estate company won't own any homes, Airbnb, you would say I'm a fool 30, 40 years ago. If I told you the number one car service would not own an automobile, Uber, you know what I mean? You would say, oh, this guy is crazy. So my point is that there's new jobs coming. There's new things that's happening. And if the mentality doesn't accept that of the leadership, then we're going to be stuck. We're going to be left behind. And that's all I'm saying, that we have a lot of strong educated people and people with different mindset, youthful mindsets that are ready to show up and show out.
Would you say that there are people in office in Newark representing Newark that are only there because it's their job that they've had for 25 years and they just do not want to give it up because, and they don't really, they're probably 50, 60 years old. They don't really have to care unless they're forced to care. Would you say that exists?
That's totally fact. And it's no disrespect to the incumbents, it's just a fact. And I'm gonna tell you why it's a fact. So we've had about 3-4 debates, in my position, and not one of the people who in office showed up to none of them. So basically it was open to the public.
Yes. We're going to debate the issues. Mm-hmm. I want to be councilman at large. I'm challenging.
That's right.
I'm Dupré, Kelly. Mm-hmm. I'm challenging so-and-so. You show up to have a conversation in front of people.
In front of the public, in front of our people, the residents, and the people who serve them, who they make millions of dollars off in 4 years, never show up.
You know why that is? Let's just cut right to the chase.
Right.
It's because those individuals that are in office know where their votes come from, and they're guaranteed votes by the population without them having to battle anyone.
Right.
So they're basically saying the people that you're saying deserve to have a voice don't show up to vote.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying.
I've seen this. We see this all the time.
You got it. That's real talk.
Because they know that young people, based on research, based on the past, those people who are saying they want change don't represent a majority of people, or the people who own homes, or the tax-paying citizens, because they're young or whatever, and they don't deserve to have power and a voice.
And that's why they try to, when people are in power, they try to block you from going into senior buildings and, things of that nature, because they don't want you to tell that to the elders. They don't want you to tell that to their voting base. So what I'm telling everybody out there under the sound of our voice in Newark, New Jersey, do not fall for that this year. The same way that you came out to put Obama in, or the same way that you came out to put whoever it is that you believe in, to put Raz in. Even, when you talk about Newark politics, you have to go back to Raz's father, right? Amiri J. Baraka Sr. I felt like he was a revolutionary that pointed the way for us in Newark, and then after him, our first black mayor, Ken Gibson really kind of gave the people our city a voice. That was the first time we really had a voice. And then after him, you had Sharp James, who was in office forever, but Sharp was like, look, we can eat. Let me give the city to the people. He really was on it like that. And then Cory Booker came in, and no matter what people think about him, because he wasn't a real Newarker, but he put Newark, New Jersey on a national platform. Whenever Cory cracked the mic or was in front of that camera, Newark was in front of that camera, Newark was on the mic. And then Raz made people believe in Newark again. So with that being said, man, it's like we have to make sure that we can't allow incumbents not showing up, because that's saying they don't respect you. They don't respect your vote, just like you're saying. They're saying that you don't go out and vote. And we have to show them that it's different, that we coming out to vote, and we coming out to vote for people who really care now.
Yo, Dupré, Kelly.
Yeah.
We just call him Do It All.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People go out to vote. If you haven't registered to vote, can you still vote? What are the rules in Newark? I don't know what the voting rules are. Or would you have already had to register a while ago?
You would have had to register. You can still register to vote. I want you to still register to vote. But you might have missed this election because it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
But still register to vote, whoever you are. Even if it's not for this election, man, go register to vote. So, the power of the ballot means a lot. And we I know people are frustrated and they don't want to vote, but they got to go out and vote, man. And Tuesday, if you are registered to vote, make sure that you go out and vote for Dupré Kelly, B5, and Do It All for Newark. B5, 5B, however you want to turn it around and flip it. But we have an opportunity to make history too. This is not just about me. This is way bigger than me. I really just want to spark people from our culture too, to know that you can do a whole bunch of other things too. You don't just have to be a rapper. You don't just have to be in the entertainment business, but you can, and even if you are, you have a lot of people following you. You have a lot of fans. You can utilize them to make some noise. And then you can bring smart people to the table and we can get things done that we need to get done. I would love to see T.I. in Atlanta run for mayor in 4 to 8 years. I would love to see David Banner in a state assembly's office or something. I would love to see Killer Mike being able to express himself. I mean, whoever, man, even if Drake...
Nothing's going to stop Killer Mike from expressing himself.
Yeah,
don't worry about that.
Shout out
He's
to
doing
Mike
that just
too,
fine.
man.
But if he wants political office, look, he's a very, very savvy intellectual person when it comes to how things work. So he's been doing a great job. He's put his foot in his mouth a couple times. Let me say it this way. We disagreed with him, and he's had to apologize about some things that he's aligned himself with unknowingly, but still, Killer Mike's out here trying to do great work.
Yeah, man. And that's just my point, man. When we have, as hip-hoppers, we got to understand our power. In my 4 decades of living, man, I understand that hip-hop is the pop culture of the world.
Yes.
Because I travel the world every year. So I see it around the world. I just got a call from Mr. Cheeks from Lost Boys, literally just a text while we was in the car, and said, yo, I'm in Germany right now and you banging on the radio. And that's just from me doing a song with Snow Goons out there, but my point is, like, here is Cheeks calling me from Germany, just listening to me in Germany, and it's just a testament of how powerful hip hop is. So if we're that powerful, then we should have a seat at some governing table. Our voice should be heard. We sell fashion, we sell food, we sell beverages, we sell everything, car insurance, we sell everything. So if we do that and we move society forward, why we don't have a seat at the table?
Kanye's trying to get a seat at the table.
All right, do it all, Dupré. Good luck tomorrow, man.
Good luck tomorrow.